Hello guys, my name is Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. In this video, we're going to talk about Ethereum versus EOS 2.0. To those wondering how EOS will fare in light of Ethereum 2.0, EOS has a several-year lead in technology. Ethereum has years to complete its full 2.0 rollout. EOS does it today. At the end of the day, these competing cryptos are an experiment, but I see EOS having its niche. Ethereum has the first mover advantage in the smart contract space. Bitcoin has the first mover advantage in the decentralized money space. That doesn't mean that they are the best technology. This will hurt the ears of a maximalist. So I wanted to talk about this today, guys, because obviously the price of cryptocurrencies and especially altcoins right now is tanking. It's very low. It's not where we'd like it to be. It's been this way for the past almost 2 years where it's just been dropping and dropping and dropping. Some have done better than others. EOS price-wise, unfortunately, has not been retaining as much of its value as Ethereum has. And I want to talk about why that might be the case. So one thing that I noticed that has been omitted from the discussions of EOS versus Ethereum is how long each of these cryptocurrencies has been around. Ethereum has been around for about 5 years now. It has seen a full bull run, and it's getting ready for its second bull run. EOS, for better or for worse, was created at the tail end of the last bull run and went live after the bull run was completed. So EOS has not yet seen a full bull run. And I think that the amount of time that the market has had to establish itself for Ethereum, and I think that Ethereum has an advantage in this regard. It has the first mover advantage. It has had the most amount of time in comparison with EOS to gain capital, to gain traction in the market, to gain developers. It's had 5 years to do this. And EOS has had about 2 years to do this. And I think that if you were to plot EOS versus Ethereum on just a 2-year basis, how many dApps, how many developers, how many transactions per second, how many operations per second does EOS have in a first 2-year period of its life versus how much dApps, operations per second, transactions per second, user base did Ethereum have in its first 2 years of its existence? I think that EOS is probably way, way ahead. And so people tend to forget that and they compare simply today. Ethereum is blowing the pants off of EOS, and so therefore EOS ain't shit because Ethereum's beating it. And that's not how I see it. I think that you have to compare apples to apples. EOS technologically is vastly superior to Ethereum. Let there be no mistake about that. EOS has a several-year lead in technology, as I said. Right now, the technology on EOS is the technology that Ethereum hopes to have by the completion of its Ethereum 2.0 rollout. And I think we're going to see the beginning phase 0 of Ethereum 2.0 in the next couple of months, if we're lucky. We've already been waiting for like 3 years, okay? Keep it in mind. I think we'll see the beginning stages of the proof of stake migration in a couple of months. But that's phase 0, and that's like a single shard running on a single chain, and that's not the full vision for Ethereum 2.0. And to get to that final phase, I think there's 6 phases in Ethereum 2.0. To get to that last phase, I personally believe it'll probably be the year 2022 or beyond. I don't think that this is a quick project. I don't think this is a quick migration. I think that this is a many stage rollout that's going to take a lot of time because you don't want to do it wrong. And as Dan Larimer said in one of his early videos, changing the engine in a running car is infinitely more difficult than simply building the engine correctly the way you want it from the ground up at the start. And I don't want there to be a mistake that I am bashing Ethereum. I am not. I love Ethereum. I hold Ethereum. I hold EOS and I hold Ethereum both. I'm just calling it like I see it on speed of development and how the future looks like it will unfold. Ethereum has had remarkable advancements lately with the advent of things like Loopring, which is essentially the Lightning Network for the Ethereum network, which ironically got completed before the Lightning Network got out of beta on the Bitcoin network. And now Ethereum has more Bitcoin locked up in layer 2 channels than Bitcoin has on its own built-in Lightning Network. And so it just goes to show you that Ethereum is making a difference. The power and the usefulness that even the first generation smart contract platforms such as Ethereum has, in contrast with a technology 1.0 Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum blows the pants off of Bitcoin. And Ethereum 2.0 is kind of like generation 3 of the technology. And EOS is generation 3 blockchain technology. And so to summarize, I would call Bitcoin generation 1, Ethereum generation 2, Ethereum 2.0 generation 3, and EOS generation 3 as well. Other generation 3 platforms out there are things like Tezos, Cardano, whenever it does finally get its products fully realized and smart contracts in place, and similar blockchains like that. So we are in the race for the best generation 3.0 blockchain. And right now, in my opinion, the most superior blockchain 3.0 technology of generation 3 is EOS. Now, the thing to put this in perspective is that when the 6th phase of the Ethereum 2.0 rollout finally completes in, let's say, 2 years from now, where is EOS going to be? And that's the mind-blowing moment where you realize that right now EOS is where Ethereum hopes to be in 2 years. So in 2 years from now, where is EOS going to be? I suspect advanced inter-blockchain connectivity, cross-platform, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, hundreds of millions or billions of operations per second. And so I'm just putting it in perspective that they're at a different place in the development cycle, and they're at a different place technologically. And Ethereum does have the first mover advantage, and that is a very powerful advantage to have. But a first mover advantage does not guarantee that Bitcoin will remain in first place, and it does not mean that they are the best technology. It just means that they're the best technology that has gained the most market share within that frame of time. And in my opinion, it does take a technology to be an order of magnitude superior to an existing technology for users to make the migration and jump the friction hurdle from an old technology to a new technology. So for a user to go from writing a letter to their grandmother and putting a stamp on it, licking the envelope and putting it in the mail and waiting a week for it to arrive at their grandma's house, to go to typing on a keyboard their email and pressing send and it gets there instantaneously, that is, I would say, more than an order of magnitude of improvement in user experience and speed and convenience and help to that person. And that's why email is so pervasive in our society. And that's why you barely ever use a fax machine anymore, because fax machines are an order of magnitude inferior to email. And the same thing goes with every technology. When you have a landline phone, those of you who still have it, which is not many, and those of you who have cell phones, well, cell phones now have basically replaced landline phones because they're so superior in almost every way. It's basically a portable computer, as well as a camera, as well as an audio recorder, as well as a notepad, as well as a calculator, as well as a flashlight, all in one device in the palm of your hand. And then you go to your wall phone that's a landline phone, and you pick it up and you can call, and you can't walk away from the wall if you got the landline cord still plugged in. And so it just goes to show you that a cell phone is an order of magnitude superior of technology to a landline phone, especially a corded one. Well, I think that the same thing applies for cryptocurrency. And so you have Bitcoin being the generation 1 technology. And it took an order of magnitude superior cryptocurrency to rival it, or to attempt to rival it. We haven't rivaled it yet, but I think that Ethereum has a good chance of doing that in the upcoming couple of years to 5 years. There's a chance that Ethereum will do that. And in just the same way that Ethereum, being a generation 2 blockchain, which is an order of magnitude superior to Bitcoin, has a chance of unseating Bitcoin, I do think that there's a chance in maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years where a generation 3.0 or 4.0 blockchain has a chance of unseating the rival at that time, be it Bitcoin or perhaps Ethereum at that time. And the only thing that is necessary is for that blockchain to be an order of magnitude superior to the incumbent leader at the time. So is EOS an order of magnitude superior to Ethereum? I'll leave that for you to decide. I think that it is. However, I also think that Ethereum has the chance to save itself because of things like Loopring are showing that Ethereum itself can scale. And Ethereum is scaling Bitcoin right now for it. So Ethereum is sort of like taking charge. Ethereum is not necessarily going to be relegated to second place by EOS, but it could happen. It is possible, depending on how long Ethereum 2.0 takes to roll out. And I think that's a big factor. If Ethereum 2.0 takes a decade to roll out, I think by 10 years, it's very possible that another blockchain such as EOS or Tezos or something else could supersede Ethereum. But if Ethereum rolls out smoothly in the next year or two and gets its phases in place, then I think that reduces the chance that EOS could unseat it. It's still anyone's game. Any cryptocurrency can win here, guys. If you remember from my last video, we are all on the same playing field. There's no reason to be a maximalist unless you're being short-sighted and selfish, because we are all fighting together against the unfairness, the unjustness of governments, abuses of money and taxation and enforcement on us. And the crypto space is small. It's too small for us to be fighting against each other. So let's work together. In this video, I'm talking about the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum and EOS, and I love them all. I love all three of them for their own reasons. And I embrace them all, and I welcome all of them and all of the users along with that. And I welcome all of the other users too. If you're with Cardano, I love you as well. If you're with Litecoin, that's okay. I love you too. I may have a view that one is superior than another, but that's okay. The free market can sort that out. I can be right or I could be wrong, and that's okay. We can all be right and we can all be wrong, but we are all together in the crypto space. And I just want us to remember that. We are all one kumbaya, and I don't mean this to sound corny. We really are all on the same side of the playing field. And this is my plea to the community to not be so narrow-minded that you attack others in cryptocurrencies that aren't your own. It's fine to share ideas of technical reasons and factual information about why a cryptocurrency may be superior to another cryptocurrency for the purpose of helping that individual see the light, quote unquote, and to help them get into a more likely to be successful cryptocurrency. Do not attack people to make them feel stupid. Do not try to do it to make them wrong or to show that you're right or that you're better than they are or that you're smarter than they are, because it doesn't matter. In the end, we should all be uplifting each other and helping a global uplift of our society and the freedom that we all experience. And so if you can't see that bigger vision, then I'm really sorry to hear it, because you're missing the big picture. And there's nothing wrong with making money on a good investment, but there's a lot more right with making money on a good investment and helping your fellow brethren uplift themselves at the same time. Thanks, guys. Please spread the word, and let's all help uplift each other in this great, fantastic cryptocurrency world, whether you're a Bitcoin lover, Ethereum lover, EOS lover, or something else. Have a great day.